Hello everyone, how are you doing? Hope you're doing good. Today I would like to make a video showcasing the Swarms API, the API that we've recently dropped that essentially encompasses all the different swarm architectures that we have into a very easy to use and reliable API. And so to get started, there's a couple of resources to be aware of. The first one is our documentation. So you can find anything relating to the API within these docs. The URL authentication, endpoints, the parameters, inputs and outputs, things like that. Examples for the batch API, which is basically the batch API is like enabling multiple swarms. So you have one swarm, which is the main endpoint, and then you have the batch swarm if you need to run multiple swarms at a time. Okay, and we have a couple of examples here in Python. We have Node.js. We have Go, Rust, C, Shell, and yeah. So now to get started here, we also made a console, which basically allows you to see all the different metrics, all the different data points relating to your swarms. So first step is to get your key. You could find your key at this link, swarms.world/platform/API keys. Here you can make a key, say Kai, or just give it a name. Cool. Now you have your key, and to see your available credits, you can go to your platform account, and here you see your credits. We give everybody 20 credits to start off with as kind of a way to celebrate the API. So you have $20 in credits, and now you can, once you have your API key, now you can get started using your API. So so to get started with the console, as soon as we run the API, we'll be able to track everything that we're doing here. This is another account, but if I put this key in, the one I just made, should refresh. Yeah, so we haven't run any swarms yet. So now on the code side, so to run the API, this is basically how it looks. With just Python requests, the basic Python request library. You import your requests, you import your stuff, you load your .env with your swarms key, you put your base URL, you put the headers. XAPI key is the swarms API key. This is just a simple health check, and then this is how you actually run the swarm. So it's very simple. You just give the swarm a name, you give it a description, and then there is essentially the agents parameter is a list of dictionaries, and within here you can customize your agents however you wish. You can give them a name, you can give them a description, you can give them a system prompt, you can even choose their model name. We have models from every provider: GPT-4o, O1, Claude, DeepSeek, Grok. I mean, you name it, we have it. So we have a bunch of different models. You can customize them however you wish. We have different roles for the agents. You could have workers, you could have directors, you could have team managers, and the role basically shows the agent that it's either a worker or it's a director and needs to think like a director. We have two agents in this example. This is another agent that I'll just delete for simplicity. So you have the name, description, you have the agents list, and then you have the max loops parameter. The max loops parameter is essentially the number of times in which all the entire swarm is going to run. So the agents have their own max loops parameter. Okay, that is the times in which an agent will essentially loop within itself to internalize a problem or a question or to solve the task. And then the max loops for the swarm is how many loops all the agents in the swarm will run. I got that question earlier today, so I just wanted to clear it up. Now, the swarm type is the type of swarm that you're going to be running. We have a couple. We have agent rearrange. For this, you need to put in another parameter here, which is the rearrange flow. It's basically the name of the agents. with arrow signs and commas for sequential or parallel, respectively. And to learn more about that, you can check out the agent rearrange stocks. That one enables a lot of customization. So we have mixture of agents. We have the spreadsheet swarm. We have sequential. We have concurrent. We have group chat. We have multi-agent-router. We have the auto swarm builder, the hierarchical, and then auto. So the auto one is basically going to autonomously select the best swarm for a problem. And so for this one, if you have to be a little bit more descriptive than the rest, because I think every business problem is going to require a different type of multi-agent structure. So like hierarchical swarm is good for managing teams. Concurrent is very good for doing multiple things at the same time. Sequential is good for analysis and decision making. And majority voting is good for problems that require diverse opinions and things like that. So it's very crucial that you understand the strengths and weaknesses of these different architectures before you start using them. And so every business problem might require a different type of swarm architecture. And so if you know which ones are good for which business problems, then you'll do very good in building your agent swarms. And so so there's some architectures we have. I'll be showcasing the hierarchical, which basically the way the hierarchical swarm works is that you have a director, okay? Then you have these worker agents. The director is going to submit tasks to these worker agents. And if there's multiple loops, then it'll keep looping and going on a loop. Kind of how like a company runs today. In a company today, there's a CEO, and then there's an executive team, and then the CEO says, okay, we need to do this, we need to do that, and then those respective people will then accomplish their tasks. So that's how the hierarchical one works. And so here in the API, you could choose hierarchical. The task is the main parameter. And there's a big difference between the system prompt and the task. So the system prompt are the instructions that you give to the agents. They should be very extensive. They should be very precise. They should be very detailed. The task is the input parameter. Do this. Let's analyze this. Like the task is very precise, and the system prompt is basically teaching the agent how to think. So the more you specialize your agents, the better they'll perform. And so we have the output type, which is a string. We could change this to dictionary so we can get dictionary outputs. And then the endpoint is the URL /v1/swarm/completions. And we have another endpoint where you could see all of your usage with the URL /v1/logs. And I'm gonna run the first swarm first, and then we can move forward. So let me just put in the key that I have. Okay, it's the same key. Just do that. Okay, now we should, after we run this, all the data will populate in the console. Okay, so we run this, boom, just expand, and we should be seeing data pop up. So once again, to use the console, you get your key, you put it in here, and then if you use it and you have history, then you'll see your history and all the data corresponding to your swarm execution history. So API is executing right now. We got our response. This is the output response: status, success, swarm name, description, swarm type, task. What are the best ETFs and index funds for AI and tech? You see the entire conversation. This is the director who is going to then distribute tasks to the workers. And so here's the director, here's the market analyst. To conduct a preliminary analysis of the current market landscape for AI and tech investments, we need to consider several key factors. including market trends, technological advancements, and investor sentiment. So that's kind of like analyzing like the macro, economic forecaster. Let's see, Global X Robotics and AI ETF bots. Key players in robotics and AI like NVIDIA, Intuitive Surgical, ABB. Performance has shown strong returns over the past few years, driven by growth in AI. iShares Robotics and AI, Urbo, provides exposure to companies at the forefront of robotics and AI innovation. Expense ratio approximately 0.47%. Top holdings includes Alphabet, Amazon, Microsoft. Performance offers a diversified exposure with a focus on mid to large cap companies, showing consistent growth. ARK Innovation ETF, ARK. Invest in companies involved in disruptive innovation, including AI and tech. Expense ratio approximately 0.75%. Top holdings Tesla, Roku, and Zoom video communications. And then you get a complete, so these are the agent outputs. So these are all the different agent outputs. And then for the metadata, we have some other information, such as the number of loops for the swarm, the number of agents, the execution time in seconds, the completion time, the billing info, cost breakdown, and you get a very clear and precise cost breakdown based off of every agent's inputs and outputs. So total cost is around 12 cents, market analyst, economic forecaster, and etc. And so in total, the output of the API is the initial input data, agent outputs, metadata, cost breakdown, and billing information. And so if we refresh our platform here, we should see the total swarms run. And we see all the other data, such as the total number of agents, total cost, total swarms, average execution time, total tokens. And then we have some charts here, and here we see our history. If we go to the history channel, we could see the same data that we are just looking at in our table, and we could even export this to CSV. So we have the financial analyst swarm, we have the start time, duration, agents, tokens, and cost. And then here in the swarms page, you can build your swarms through the form, and you could run it. We also have a chat interface where you could talk with the swarm. And you could also, we have another tab called agents. And so if you go here in your agents, you could build agents individually. And then in the swarm page, you can add them in. So if I just go here, boom, boom, I can add all these agents into the API. And then you get the code in Python, Node.js, and Rust. So the agents here, all you have to do to make this is just copy the code, or you could even run it within right here. And then if you fill out the form, you'd also get the chat. So you could actually talk with your agents in a chat interface, just so you can test it. So yeah, the swarms page basically enables you to create swarms for the API, test them, and reuse agents that you built in the past. In the agents tab, you build agents individually, and you could add new agents and then use them within your swarm. And then we have the history tab where you can basically see all your history, the cost, duration, etc. And yeah, that's a little overview of the cloud platform for the API. There's a lot more features coming for the console platform, one of which is templates tab. So within the templates tab, there'll be a series of pre-built swarms that you could just execute and put your task in. And so that'll be amazing to use for beginners. And within this cloud platform, we also envision to add much more data sources and add more charts and generally make it much more reliable and provide you with a lot more data. Yeah, so this is the cloud platform. To summarize, we provide you a bunch of data metrics on your swarms. We provide you the ability to test your swarms, create the code for the swarms. We also give you the ability to build agents and reuse agents and put them in your swarms. And we also show you your entire history. And within the API, everything you do here will be saved to the platform. So if I go here within the file, we could also showcase the get logs. So the API is stateful, so it remembers everything you do. And within this API, we could very easily see the entire history. So if you run this endpoint, or this one, v1/swarm/logs, you'll be able to see your entire swarm history. And if we make this pretty, you'll be able to see it in a much nicer way, just as it looked when it initially ran. And so it gives you the number of counts and etc. And so that's an overview of the Swarms API and Swarms console. We would love for you to sign up. We're giving away $20 in free credits, so go sign up down below. And if you like this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe, and stay tuned for more updates. We're going to be releasing a lot of updates to the API pretty soon, such as integrating tools and essentially enabling you to use any tool, something like deep search, the terminal, etc. And we're also planning to add more swarm types and also enable multi-swarm orchestration, which is the ability to orchestrate multiple swarms at the same time. I think that's going to be really cool, and it'll essentially enable you to fully automate multiple teams at the same time. So you could create like a marketing team, sales team, legal team, and you can have them all basically working 24/7. Another thing we're going to add is the ability to schedule executions. So you'll be able to schedule executions for your swarms today, tomorrow, etc. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Stay tuned for more, and hope you had fun. Thank you.